His skin is white just like a ghost, thick Irish roots and his blonde hair. And he sounds like a Chicago superfan, a music nerd with a collection of CDs from here to there. Yes, Andy Dare is in Chicago, interviewing and barbecuing. It's the Andy Dare Show. It's the Andy Dare Show.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out the Andy Dare Show. I'm your host, Andy. This is episode 85. I'm joined by the owner of our longest running sponsor, Record Utopia. His name is Dan Swanson. We have a delightful discussion for the inner record nerd in all of us. And you get to learn a lot about how to run a record store, just a whole bunch of cool, interesting stuff. Just want to thank Dan. Before I get into the meat of it, I'd like to bring up my awesome sponsors. Yes, as I said, Record Utopia, located at 309 West Ogden Avenue. Give them a call, 630-963-1957. As I get into a whole bunch about it during the episode, so I'm just going to keep it brief. But do check it out if you're in the western suburbs and you're a fan of music or vinyl. They have a real cool store. Check it out. And by Uncle Bub's award-winning barbecue just signed on to sponsor again. And yes, it's been about a year and a half. Real cool restaurant, the Real Deal Barbecue. Been around for 15 years in Westmont, Illinois. Awesome pulled pork, beef brisket, homemade side dishes, and delectable desserts. Also a family-friendly restaurant. Stop in. They have a great, friendly staff. But a lot of people also don't know is that they are a full-service catering company. And they put on tons of weddings, pig roast, luau's, backyard barbecues, corporate events, all sorts of cool stuff. They will make sure that your party goes off without a hitch. They have a huge catering menu. Do check it out on the web at unclebubs.com. Give them a call. They have obviously got a friendly staff that are willing to answer all your questions. That's 630-493-9000. And if you're in the western suburbs, do check it out. It's at 132 South Cass Avenue, Westmont, Illinois. And by Amazon.com. Yes, now we are an Amazon affiliate. All you got to do is go to theandydareshow.com and check out on the right-hand side of the page. You click on the Amazon banner. It takes you right to Amazon. You spend 0 extra cents, just about 2 extra seconds just to click on the banner. And yes, you get to support our little creative endeavor, the Andy Dare Show. In our 3rd year doing this, want to thank from the bottom of my heart everybody who has clicked through the link. A whole bunch of cool stuff has been purchased. And yes, you winked your eye to the Andy Dare Show, and I am very thankful for it. And this just allows us to keep bringing you good content, awesome guests, and interesting episodes. Yeah, that about does it for the sponsors this week. Just want to thank them. And yes, from the day this episode airs to all the way through the end of May, our little album, Transmissions from the Honeycomb Hideout, will be on sale for the special price of $2. A measly $2 for about an hour of entertainment. Yes, it's call-ins, it's bits, it's skits, it's music played by me, all sorts of cool stuff from the past 2 years of the Andy Dare Show. Real interesting guests. We have the Replacements manager, Peter Jesperson. We have stand-up comedian Jonah Ray. We have a podcast producer, Matt Fondelier. We have Adam Carolla's wife, Lynette Carolla. People from the Adam Carolla Show like Bald Brian and Allison Rosen. Just a really cool, interesting look at the show. If you don't want to download, 85 episodes, you just want a little primer to my show, why not check it out? It's called Transmissions from the Honeycomb Hideout, and it's located at andydareshow.bandcamp.com. $2 all the way through the month of May as a thank you to our listeners. All right, that about does it. Just want to introduce you to my episode 85 with special guest Dan Swanson. we are here, the Andy Dare Show, episode 85. I'm joined by Dan from my awesome sponsor, Record Utopia. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good today. How are you?
Very good. Yeah, we just a little, before the store opens, we got in here doing a little interview. Just want to thank you for sponsoring the past over a year now, right?
Over a year now, yeah, about a year and a half.
And, as anybody who listens to my show knows, I'm a lifelong record freak, fanatic, whatever you call it. Started out going to Remember When Records in a just with my dad as a baby, pretty much, I think mid-'80s. So, it's been a long time coming, and, this is actually the former site of Remember When, as people know about that. How did you end up meeting Hank? How did you start this whole relationship off? How long are we talking?
Let's see, 1986, six or seven.
So the previous location or the one before that?
The one before the previous
Wow.
location, his second location.
Nice.
So, I must have been probably about 16 years old. I wasn't driving yet.
Huh.
Maybe 15, 16. I wasn't driving yet, and drove past, and with my brother, I had him take me because I saw the store, and then I had my brother take me over there one day, and he wouldn't come in with me.
Okay.
It looked like an oldies shop to him.
Oh,
He wasn't
yeah.
into that. It's like, no, there's no way that's going to have cool stuff in there. And then I walked in there, and I remember my first record I got from him was ELO Discovery.
Nice.
And I got it for $3. I remember that. It was cheaper than the other records for some reason. And then I came out to the car. I'm like, no, you got to go in. It's really cool. They have Rush albums, and they have they got everything. They got Ozzy Osbourne. He's like, maybe next time. So next time he came in with me, and then we just started shopping there.
You can't judge a book by its cover, because my friends were the same way. Like, they were into grunge and alternative and punk music. What does this old Italian guy know about that? Then you go in there, and he slowly starts dropping these jewels of knowledge that you have to be pretty in tune to
Right.
what's going on.
Right. I think the thing that scared my brother was he had this banner set on the window, "Bring back 1957," and it just scared him. He's like, I'm not going.
That's
in
funny. Speaking of, that's his phone number, right? And is that because of his first record was bought in '57? Or
I'm not exactly sure. Probably.
did I just drop one on you?
I think
yeah.
so. I think you're right. Yeah.
And if you're in the area and you want to come and buy, sell, trade, or any of that stuff, it's 630-963-1957, right?
That's right.
Record
still
Utopia.
Still the same phone number.
That's awesome. And I'm sure you get calls every day. Is this Remember When Records, right?
Every day.
Every single day.
Or I say, no, but we're still a record store.
Still a record.
Oh, okay. So,
That's good. It kind of gets your foot in the door already. So
It does.
It's
it
a
does.
nice thing.
It is.
How about the first record you bought with your own money? That's always a big thing. I mean, like when I first was growing up, I had to kind of suffer. I mean, not suffer, but I got the Born in the USA, the Madonna albums and stuff. But then when you first mow your first lawn or whatever, that's when you really get to pick what you like in your soul. It seems
My
like
own money. That's interesting because you know what? I always liked records more than money. I still do.
Same here. Yeah.
And I remember I wouldn't mow the lawn for money. I would just do chores. I would just tell my mom, she'd say, mow the lawn. I said, can I get a record? Take me over to Flipside or take me over to Music Warehouse. And that's really what I did. I just got the record. If she was going to, Venture to do grocery shop, I'd tag along. I'm like, well, I'll mow the lawn this afternoon if I can get this Who's Next record.
Awesome.
So you're like, okay,
Music Warehouse, also a very awesome store. That was
Yes.
around for, 25, 30 years, too?
A long time, yeah.
And that was, Downers Grove.
The best cutout section ever.
Really?
I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great cutout section.
Well, Hank
Which is
had
important
his-
when you're in
yeah.
junior high and you don't
Oh.
have much money, or you're trying to convince your mom it's only $1.99. Can I get it?
I love the cutouts. That was a huge thing for me. Getting something 6 weeks early at $5,
Yeah.
can't beat it.
Exactly.
Love finding those those great finds.
That's
But how about the biggest rare find that you ever found that you just had to keep? It's not worth parting with, even though it's worth a lot.
Rarest find. It's hard to say. I collect records because I like to listen to them. Rare for me, I don't know. I mean,
It's usually a picture disc, right? Those are
They can be. Yeah, I never got heavy into picture discs. Like I said, I want good sound quality. Well, that's a tough one, because what's rare in the age of eBay? You know, that's the other thing. All the stuff that we all thought was so rare, there's like a zillion of them. And all the stuff we thought were like everywhere is now gone. It all went into dumpsters. You know, like, oh, who needs this? You know, junky, you know, thing. And then those are the ones that everybody wants. You know, 20 years later. So it's really hard to say. Rarest, yeah. I don't know.
I remember he would always talk about Bill Haley and the Comets. That he had one that was, I think, $500 on the wall.
Was it
for a
five?
while?
I know he had a $200.
He had a $200 one? Huh.
Yeah.
I just like how he had the picture discs, you know, on the ceiling too.
Yes.
That was always a good thing.
Yeah,
so.
I might do that. I might bring that back.
Nice.
Got a bunch of picture discs kind of hiding somewhere,
Really?
and I might have to pull those out and start displaying them. Yeah.
That was a thing that Hank also did. He knew how to create an awesome environment,
Yes.
and I'm thinking you're bringing that back. As my listeners know, it was Secondhand Mall for the last year and a half, and you know, kind of almost a pawn shop type deal. You got resale, you got power tools, musical instruments, all that kind of stuff. But the owner of that just moved to Indiana, correct?
Yeah, but we are sticking with that concept.
Sticking with that
still
concept,
tools, still instruments, video games, DVDs, electronics, stereo equipment, iPods, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Awesome.
Computer monitors, all kinds of things like that. But really, you know, my love is music, so kind of pushing the music. But definitely, if you need a sawzall or a hammer, this is your place too. It's
Awesome.
cheap.
You got the space here. You might as well cater to everybody
right.
what they need. You know.
That's right.
How about the weirdest thing that anybody's ever brought in here to sell, and you just look at him like, you really think I'm going to buy this from you?
Well, I'm waiting for all the good stuff with the flood last week.
Oh,
I'm waiting
geez.
for all the flood stuff to come in, and then people look at me bewildered why I don't want it.
This
You know,
record
I
plays
already
like new.
I already have had a little flood stuff, and I'm like just thinking, yeah, no.
Yeah, Chicago suburbs got rocked by a bunch of storms last week. My restaurant got flooded. Luckily, I'm up on a hill, so I didn't get hit too bad. Did you get hit in your house? Or?
No.
Good deal.
No, we were very, very lucky. I was working on the sump pump till 3 in the morning.
That's a different story.
It's all right. But I got it going. You know.
Nice. Awesome.
Just in time. Just in time.
How about like the most annoying like record haggler habit that like Hank used to have a bunch of people come in, and if there was one little imperfection on the spine, they would have to
sure.
bring it back. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing about anybody, you know, the collectors have their quirks.
Sure. To say the least.
To say the least. They're wonderful people, but, you know, there's different degrees of OCD associated with collecting, you know.
I actually had a psychologist. I interviewed him, and he told me that I'm surrounding myself by my items, and that's not healthy. So that's why I stopped. I focused everything from collecting to working on the show. So that's why I'm hoping that will be a positive thing.
Really?
Positive change.
Okay, that's interesting, because there's the old saying that we buy books because we believe we're buying the time to read them. And I think in a lot of ways, you know, you buy a book. I mean, you gotta live to read it, right?
Yeah.
Or it's there, you know. And it's the same. I think it's the same thing with records. Like I know I'm that way. I stopped collecting. I stopped just buying records to listen to. I mean, probably 20 years ago.
Good.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, during the CD craze, records were dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And I always loved records. My first CD I heard, I'm like, I don't get it. You know, why is everybody going crazy? I didn't hear it. And then everybody was just dumping their records. Just, you know, you could buy anything for $1 or $2. And so I just loaded up on records, and around that time I just decided, you know what, this isn't something I'm going to listen to. It's a library, and I've got it for when that time comes. And it's happened lots of times. I'll be reading a magazine, or I'll be reading an article, and you know, they'll bring up like a Jefferson Airplane album, and I'll go, well, I know I bought that 20 years ago. I never listened to it, but it's like, well, let me see what they're talking about. And I'll pull it out. I'm like, oh, I get it. Oh, that's cool. All right, I get it now. All right, Jefferson Airplane. Right on. Let's go.
That is a good feeling when you do have it
you
there.
have it, and you're kind of like, all right, I get it.
In the
Cool.
reserves.
I'm
yeah.
ready. I'm ready now. I get what it's all about. Whereas prior to that, you put on, you're like, this is terrible.
That's what I'm
or
doing with the
something.
CDs myself.
Yeah.
I've got, almost $3,000 of CDs.
Yeah.
And just in case,
You're a lightweight.
Yeah. I'm still green, but hey, you said you don't really feel like you never really caught on with the compact disc.
Oh, I did. I got a million of them, but it's just it's not real to me unless it's on a record, on vinyl.
True.
It's just that's the thing. I mean, that's the artifact.
And now in 2013, it seems like it's shifting back to the vinyl and
It
the
is.
MP3 download. Record Store Day, how was that for you?
Record Store Day was good. We didn't participate per se. We didn't get the exclusive stuff, but I did have a little sale, and people were loading up. It was a
Awesome.
good day. Yeah. It was a lot of fun too. It was busy.
And you see a lot
I
of
was
the
tired
younger
at the end of the day.
you see a lot of the younger kids, high school kids buying the vinyl now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
But
Yeah.
what I've noticed lately, I mean, I went for about 5 years where I didn't see any kids buy CDs, and I've started, lately I've been having some kids come in buying CDs, and I'll say, just jokingly, hey, you guys don't really fit the demographic for this. What are you doing buying CDs? And they say, well, it's cheaper than iTunes.
Really? Huh?
Yeah.
Hook
Because
me
I
up
mean,
with them.
you
Yeah.
figure a CD. I mean, I sell used CDs. They're like $2.98, $3.98, $1.98. Any record on iTunes is about $10, right?
$10, and it's the most unsatisfying.
$9.99,
feeling.
no artwork. So these guys will come in, they'll get some CDs for $3 a piece, and load them in their. Who cares what happens
It's
after
true.
that? It's just a lot cheaper.
You click on the iTunes, buy the album, and it takes 10 minutes to download it, and then you're left with an emptiness. You don't have any liner notes. You don't have a cover. Then your computer, you have to reformat the hard drive. You lose it, and then great.
I've noticed that too. A lot of stores, you go into the stores and you see their their Super Saver, section or whatever, and they're all $5.
$5, yeah.
$5 CDs, classic albums, but those same thing, like Kiss Destroyer, $5. You're thinking $5. Why didn't they do this, 15 years ago? And then you go on iTunes, it's still $9.99,
$9.99,
and you
yep.
don't get the artwork, you don't get the case, you don't get the CD, you don't get the sound.
It's true.
It's
Yeah.
amazing to me,
The record companies themselves kind of, they put their hands over their ears in the late 90s. They weren't anticipating the change. They they ducked in the sand, and now they're paying for it. But it seems like the artists themselves are now paying for it. The record labels are not to be found anymore. They're not needed as
Correct.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
They left for Miami or something. I don't know what they did, but
and I don't know how the artists make a living anymore. I really don't.
if you're a band and you don't play live, you are in poverty
Right.
levels now, I
Exactly.
think. Yeah.
And you have to give your
Yeah.
music away.
So it's
And then
tough.
with so much music in the world, how do you get people to pay attention to your music?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you do it,
That's what I saw with podcasts. Now, like, a band will come and do, for free, they'll want me to interview them. Then I spread the word to my listeners, and, people get to see behind the curtain of, like, oh, this guy's actually an interesting personality. He's got, a story behind him. It's not just a young band. They actually have a cool tale that they're telling. And that's what I like about podcasts, not just, a 2.5 minute interview, separated by commercials and traffic and weather on radio,
Right.
like a long form, get to know the band.
It is. It's long form. It's great. It reminds me of like the old, Tonight Show. If you watch the old Tonight Show or Mike Douglas shows, I mean, these people they just talk.
Yeah.
I mean, it needs to be an hour of like just shooting the breeze. And now it's so foreign. You watch like Leno and I. It's just the same. It's, I understand you had a baby. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they tell the same old stale baby stories.
Yeah.
You don't know any. You know nothing more about these people than you did. Before they were on, and then but you watch those old shows like Dick Cavett, and it's like they're just. I mean, they just talk.
They're having a
You're
having a
you
drink
get an
and
idea
enjoying
of
themselves.
Yeah, you get an idea of who these people are.
How about like your favorite podcast to listen to? You said you enjoyed a couple, right?
Yeah. I'm a big Todd Rundgren fan, so
Nice.
there was Rundgren Radio for a while, but I guess they've put that on hiatus, unfortunately. So I'll have to get my Todd news elsewhere. But one of my favorites is definitely, besides your show, is I love Inside Music Cast. Because
Okay.
it's all interviews with really the guys behind the scenes, a lot of studio guys, and they talk for about an hour and a half,
We'll have to check that
and
out.
it's really in depth. They just had Stuart Copeland on. I'm kind of listening to that one casually now, but they've had everybody like lots of people, and Michael McDonald, people you wouldn't even think to listen to, but they shoot the breeze for an hour and a half, and a lot of the guys that played on the Steely Dan albums or the Toto record,
Jeff
all
Skunk
those guys,
Baxter.
I don't think they've had Skunk on yet, but they've had Steve Lukather and a lot of great drummers too. Simon Phillips has been on there, and just a lot of great musicians. And they just Al Stewart was on there. That was a real interesting one.
Awesome.
Seems like a really nice guy. And it's just they're out of Indianapolis.
Oh, I will definitely check it out. I like the long form thing, getting to know the band. Like, not that I'm a huge Hall & Oates fan, but live from Daryl's house.
Awesome.
It's a great idea, cook
Awesome.
a meal for them, jam for them, then just talk. It's totally unfiltered, it feels like.
It's great. It's a great show.
Then I looked up, Daryl Hall is 67 years old.
No way.
And he looks about 40 at the most.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
He must have, he keeps in shape somehow. I mean,
Wow.
doesn't hurt you. You get all those royalties every
right.
every day going to your mailbox, How about the handsomest gatefold you've ever laid your eyes on?
Handsomest gatefold. I wish I knew these questions ahead of time. I love gatefolds.
This record is this episode is for record nerds only. So.
Yeah, there's some amazing covers. What was I just thinking? Like, the elaborate covers of the 70s were amazing. There's the Santana Lotus that just like folds out and keeps folding out, and once you think it's stopped folding out,
keeps
folding out more. And then there's the world's biggest poster in Chicago Live at Carnegie Hall. I mean, that thing just keeps unfolding and unfolding. I mean, it's huge.
The thing itself weighs is 5 pounds.
Oh, the Yes covers had great gatefolds.
Sure.
All the Roger Dean artwork.
How about Rundgren? What's his best gatefold?
His best gatefold?
Something, anything?
Yeah, probably something, anything with the Nixon fingers. The back shot with the world's greatest guitar, the Gibson SG, around his neck, and then his Nixon fingers up in the air with the headphones on. That's a pretty cool picture.
Was that based on Nixon, or was that before Nixon did that?
Well, it was 1972, so it's based on Nixon.
It was okay.
Yeah, Nixon was kicked out 74, just before his last term, 73 or 74.
Huh. Cool.
Didn't finish out his term.
Yeah, I'm glad to talk about Rundgren to somebody. I don't have a lot of chances to do that. Nice. How about the biggest letdown of a new album that you were counting the days for its release? Then you come, you take it home, unwrap it, and then you play it once, and it's done.
You know what? I'm actually trying to correct that right now. I'm going through some stuff that I heard that was right now in my car. I've been driving it to it since Sunday. It was Paul McCartney, Off the Ground.
Okay.
That came out right after Flowers in the Dirt. Great period. I'm a big Wings nut. I think the Wings are better than Beatles.
Nice.
McCartney, absolutely.
Awesome.
I think the Beatles was just the warm up for the main event, which was Wings.
And
yes,
Lennon's
I'm crazy.
solo stuff.
And the solo stuff, all the solo, everything up to Flowers in the Dirt, 89, 90, and then the one after that was Off the Ground. And I remember getting it and playing it. And I'm like, I just thought it was terrible.
Jeez, yeah.
And I'm kind of forced myself to go back now, and I've been driving with it for 4 days straight, and it's sinking in because I don't want to not like stuff,
Sure.
And it was kind of like the dividing line for me. It's like I like Paul McCartney before that, and everything since then has been one listen.
One listen.
Whether it's Flaming Pie,
Kisses on the Bottom, one listen.
That one was a little different. That one at least serves as good dinner eating music, But all the stuff he's put out, Driving Rain, all they're one listens for me, and I'm trying to correct that because you have so much music. It's I don't want to not like the stuff, and so finally it's kind of I'm hearing things in the Off the Ground now where I'm like, you know what, it's not bad.
That bad.
I'm used to it, and so I'm doing that, and I was doing that I've just been doing that with certain things, trying to go back, and I kind of picking up the challenge. Another band I completely dropped in about 89 or so was Rush. There's Rush before that, and then there's Rush after that.
Gotcha.
And there's they're sketchy. As I get older, they get a little more sketchy. but that's kind of probably going to be next. I got to listen to Presto onward because I just don't like it.
Don't like the
I liked when they did all the the 80s was my period. That was that and with the parts that everybody hates with all the keyboards. That's the ones I like.
The Big Money. You like that?
Yeah, Big Money and all that stuff. Hold Your Fire. The best one was Grace Under Pressure.
Nice.
I thought. thought. You know, a lot of people think that's where it started like going bad, but I'm like, nah, that's cool. They were like really innovating then.
But then, like the '90s, they tried to
kind of go back,
curtail that, and
and went a little
almost
grungier
grungify.
and stuff. And it was like, it's like they always threatened to, less keyboards. And then when they finally did it, I'm like, nah, I don't like that.
More keyboards.
I didn't think they should go more key. I mean, they definitely went as far as they could, at one point. So they did have to pull it back, but it's like, I don't know. It's just that point. It was just sort of like, yeah, no, I think I'm moving on. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I've just got a couple more. There is a line forming outside of the store,
Okay.
so we will make it quick here. How about plans for the future of Record Utopia? Is it a blissful utopia?
I certainly hope so. Yeah, I
Awesome.
mean, it's going well. We're off to a good start. It's going well. Enjoy it.
Any plans of in stores or
I'd love to. We did
promotions,
have
stuff
one
like that?
in store with a local guy, Jerry O'Keefe, and that went really well. Jerry's a really nice guy.
Nice.
He was selling his CD, sold a lot of his CD that day.
Cool.
He did a really great job. That was our only performance we've had in here, and he did a great job and brought people in, and it was a good time.
Yeah, we'll have to talk. I'll try to get Kevin Matthews. He's a friend, and he comes out here all the time. So it's definitely a possibility. Maybe getting him. Jim Shorts might show up. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Have a little, maybe have Dog Julin from Poi Dog Pondering. They're on the same network there.
Oh, okay.
He's a really good guitar player, and he's a really super nice guy, too. So, yeah, I mean, we'll try to work together, try to, keep this thing going like 25 years like Remember When. Right?
That'd be great.
It'd be awesome, man. Yeah, it's good seeing Hank in here. It's just kind of like a continuation of everything. I'm really glad
He
to see
still
the
comes
success.
in. He was in yesterday.
Yeah, that's awesome. So he's my rock and roll godfather, as I say.
That's right.
So, yeah, that about does it for us. Just want to thank Dan. Anything else coming up on the future that you'd like to plug on the show here?
Anything in the future?
Or how about a website? Or...
Just more records. Well, I do need to do a little work on the website. Just information at this point, like hours and and location. But hopefully we'll start getting the website thing going a little more. But www.recordutopia.com.
Awesome. Yeah, I think.
And we're not just records. We're not just music. There's all kinds of other stuff.
All sorts of other stuff. Yeah, and On behalf of Dan, this is Andy Dare signing off for the Andy Dare Show.
Be sure to follow Andy on Twitter. That's at Andy Dare, ANDYDERER. And like our show on Facebook. That's facebook.com/The Andy Dare Show. Videos at youtube.com/Andrew Martin Dare. And it all leads back to the AndyDareShow.com. Support our show by supporting our sponsors. Uncle Bub's award-winning barbecue, Secondhand Mall, The Mandrate, and Amazon.com. Thank you so much for listening.